The Revenant. The Revenant is nominated for Best Picture at this year's Oscars and is the follow-up from Alejandro G. Inarritu after his film Birdman last year took home the Best Picture award. Leonardo DiCaprio stars as legendary explorer Hugh Glass, who after being left for dead after a vicious bear attack, goes on a perilous journey to avenge those who have wronged him. Now, there's one word that really describes this movie best, and it's not a word you're going to hear me use often describing a film. You see, I'm usually more of a character, dialogue, script, and story kind of guy. You're not going to hear me talk about technical film aspects that much, but this film is beautiful. You've probably heard that this film was only shot in natural light. There was no artificial lighting. You can tell Inarritu really wanted to create an authentic feeling, and my goodness did he succeed. Some of the scenery in this film is just absolutely breathtaking. You see, when you have this man on a big, long journey, you need to really create the epic scale. And this film's setting really helps you do that with these massive mountains. And it really serves the story well because this is very much a man versus nature and man versus self story. And in saying that, in a man versus nature story, you're going to get a lot of slower moments. There's going to be a lot of moments without much dialogue or action. DiCaprio haters always like to say that Leo just grunts and screams a lot. Well, unfortunately, this film, that's what he does a lot. It's a lot of... So if you were expecting an action-packed movie with tons of violence and tons of action, then you're going to come out disappointed. This is an artsy movie with outstanding performances. Now that's not to say there aren't brutal moments in this film. When the action goes down, it goes down, and it's shot beautifully. There's a long action scene early on that literally had my jaw dropped, just at the way it was filmed in such a unique, crisp way. So many directors these days think that shaky cam is the best source of action, and they just get all in your face. Oh, look how action I am. Stop it. No, stop doing that. It was so refreshing to see someone beautifully film action where you can see everything going on. You can see multiple things going on at once. Now, I said early on that the word I would use to describe this film was beautiful. But if I had to choose another word, I would choose brutal. Beautiful and brutal. Sounds like a romantic porno. Now, when I say brutal, I don't mean brutal, this movie sucks. I mean it's physically brutal and gruesome. The characters are living in such a physical, scary, freezing world that's just brutal at every turn. It's unforgiving, it's merciless, and it's just plain scary. You feel freezing watching this movie. You feel uncomfortable watching your characters go through this journey. This is not a happy movie. There are more than a few situations where you're going to feel a little uncomfortable watching it. But these situations happen to help create the harsh tone that the characters are living in. Even the actors themselves had a miserable time on set. They were freezing, they were really far away from society, deep in the wilderness. They could only shoot for an hour and a half a day because of the natural light that Inarritu required. But having that authenticity gets the best performance out of your actors, and it shows. Leonardo DiCaprio is excellent in this film. He's been getting a ton of Oscar buzz, and for good reason. I do, however, feel comfortable saying it's not the best performance of his career. In a normal year, I wouldn't even say he should win the Oscar. But this year's category is a little bit weaker, and I think he absolutely deserves it. He gave a very physical, brutal, emotional performance, and I'll be really rooting for him to win. However, I do think he was outshined by somebody else. No, it wasn't the bear, ladies and gentlemen, but Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy was unbelievable in this film. Now, I'm a huge fan of his. He's one of my favorite actors working today, but sometimes he can fall into a caricature of himself, where he just sort of mumbles and Mad Max. He just sort of loses the character he's playing and gets too involved in his staring. He likes to stare, and he does a lot of staring in this movie, but he's terrific at it. Scary. Anyways, he was great. I will be really mad if he doesn't win Best Supporting Actor this year. He was that good. And the character he was playing was fantastic as well. He wasn't necessarily evil. He did some evil things, but he's just a guy in this harsh world who would do whatever it takes to survive. I've also got to give a shout out to Domhnall Gleeson and Will Poulter in this film. I thought both of them gave the absolute performance of their career. They were both fantastic in supporting roles. And I think that goes back to the authenticity of this film. Inarritu deserves so much credit. My only criticism would be that the film is a little bit too long. There's moments that drag on a little bit in the middle. Inarritu is clearly trying to continuously elevate the stakes, but what you realize watching it is that the stakes are always present, living in this dangerous, freezing world. You didn't need to keep elevating the stakes, and at times it asks you to suspend your disbelief a little bit too much. However, having said that, I don't think any of these moments of disbelief take away from your overall experience of the film. The Revenant was a beautiful film that I would highly recommend. It was epic, emotional, and filled with outstanding performances. The Revenant receives mission accomplished. So The Revenant, have you seen it and what did you think? Was it Leo's best performance? Does he deserve the Oscar or is it just all hype? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you later.